We're joined from Cairo by Al-Ahram managing editor Mr. Mohammed Izzuddin. Mr. Izzuddin, welcome to Q News. How does the Egyptian Grand Museum opening reposition Egypt's cultural leadership globally, and what message does it send about our national renaissance today?
Thank you for hosting me in Q News, and I'd like to say congratulations to the Egyptian people and to the world by this grand event, the biggest in history. This is a strong message, meaning that Egypt is the cradle of civilizations since the very beginning, and today it is beginning to show the world the secrets of the civilization. There is public attention and attraction to this event, not only on the expert side but also from laymen around the world. They are keen on this interesting event where for the first time the treasures of Tutankhamun are showcased. More than 5,000 antiquities are showcased for the first time, only piece of it used to attract millions. Now the world is beginning and embarking on a new stage of getting to know the Egyptian civilization. The message conveyed by Egypt today is that of peace, civilization, and compliance, and sticking to our roots and conveying our civilization to the world to get to know only part of the secrets of the Egyptian civilization, and for which the whole world stood in awe for decades, even before the excavation and even before we get the antiquities of the dynasties. Today our dream came true, and more than 100,000 pieces were collected in a museum for a single civilization, an unrivaled civilization, an original one, the only museum in the world that has those antiquities for a single civilization. And it's not anyone, it is the Egyptian ancient civilization that admired the world for years. Today means that Egypt is given the world a cultural oversight that is new, coping with the achievements achieved by us in spite of the challenges in the region that are wreaking havoc. In spite of the fact that Egypt is a developing country, but we believe that showing our civilization with those events is a message to the world.
Mhm. Well, after winning FedEx Best Project in the World 2024, with an eye on the future already, what high-profile exhibitions, loans and academic collaborations should Egypt target next to cement the gem as the premier hub for Egyptology?
Of course, it's not only the award today. Egypt got many awards even before the inauguration, and I expect that starting from today and in the upcoming weeks, months, and years, those awards are going to increase as long as the world is getting to know the Egyptian civilization. They get more attracted. Today, this civilization is going to be viewed in a manner that is directed to the world, and the Egyptian president made his own directions that the inauguration and operation need to be modern, and the United Company thought of giving the spark of the beginning to all media outlets in Egypt and abroad. And we didn't get a financial advantage at the expense of other people and other media outlets to get their right, and given this pure enjoyment to viewers from Egypt, the heart of civilization. Of course, there are many steps. At first, there need to be integration on social media. We saw in the last few hours millions of Egyptians or tens of millions from Arabs and foreigners started to change their profile photos on social media, and they uploaded photos of kings and queens from the Egyptian civilization that attracted them for long. There needs to be continuation of this spark. We need to build upon this spark in the upcoming years to change the stereotype about the Egyptian civilization or the Egyptian antiquities. We saw how Al-Azhar and the Egyptian church commended and hailed the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. This is sending a message that the ancient Egyptian civilization is a civilization for all religions and for all peoples. There are many messages that we can take advantage of. Today there are going to be a very good scene with lights. And I think this is going to linger in people's memory. We're going to communicate with their memory. This is what happened when we contracted with TikTok. We showed the world that we care for those generations and that we need to take advantage of this one in the future. In addition to that, there needs to be some contraction with other organizations and influencers around the world to visit the Grand Egyptian Museum. I read earlier today that to get to know every inch of the museum is to spend 70 days in a row without getting any sleep. This means that our history is deep and instilled and that it cannot be disclosed at once. It's not about a single visit, sometimes a dozen of them. We also need to look into contracting with educational institutions to make students more aware and to make researchers know better the Egyptian civilization.
Yes, definitely. Well, it is worth noting that GEM is the region's first green museum, powered mainly by on-site solar energy. How does this advance Egypt's climate leadership in attracting sustainability-focused funding and events?
There is keenness on green economy and green transformation and even preserving the environment, not only in the museum, but in all aspects of economy. The new projects that are being forged in Egypt need to be complying with European standards, as Europe is keen on how energy is used. And for the first time in the region, this kind of technology is being applied to preserve the environment and to generate energy in this exceptional manner in Egypt. This means that Egypt is pioneering this experience when it comes to generating energy and given this image to the world that we are modern and that we are at the same time coping with our ancient civilization to show the world our antiquities in the best way possible and to apply technologies and the conversation process and to collect all antiquities in a single place. It indicates that there is much effort that finally became fruitful after being ongoing for more than 20 years. And in the reign of President Sisi, he was determined on continuing and building upon that dream. It could have been faded away, but there was determination to continue on this Egyptian dream to showcase our civilization in the way it deserves. For the first time, the world will get to know the Egyptian civilization, and the stereotypes of tourism are going to change. And Many people are going to work in the tourism sector. It exceeded exhibiting antiquities in a place. It became a new industry and a change of the stereotype of the Egypt as a destination. This is coping with the advancement and progress made in the pyramids region. There is a comprehensive plan. Egypt managed to achieve or to get $15 million and more, and this year we're expecting them to exceed $18 million. So this is commendable. The museum is planning to forge visits starting from 5 million visitors and reaching 30 million visitors in 3 or 4 years by 2030. This means there are much efforts that are being exerted and that are supported by the infrastructure and the new plans of transportation, whether it be through trains to Cairo from governorates or from other tourist attractions. There is determination to make this experience succeed and to change the patterns
Yes.
of tourism in Egypt.
Well, sir, I mean, other than taking 70 days to examine every detail about the Grand Egyptian Museum, in simple terms, what should Egyptians and visitors expect to experience that makes this museum different from any other one in the world?
This experience is going to be unique and, as I told you, unrivaled. There are going to be an opportunity to know a civilization that lasted for thousands of years, and there are also shows and halls devoted for families, and there is the crown of the museum, King Tutankhamun. His memory is being revived for the first time with belongings that are going to describe his lifetime. Other media outlets described those belongings by being grandeur and by bringing to the mind and the public conscious those great memories of our ancestors. It's going to show the world that Egypt led the world for years, and finally, the civilization is being showcased with modern technology, whether by light or sound. This experience is going to be unique. Regardless to say, it's going to be a good place for families to hang around. There are going to be recreational activities and even places to buy souvenirs and parkings.
Mhm.
In addition to that, there are going to be utilities and top tier services. There were developments and roads and infrastructure that are connecting between the Grand Egyptian Museum and other services or the pyramids. There are efforts exerted by all ministries around the state to bring about the best experience and enjoyment to families visiting the Grand Egyptian Museum. This can be clearly seen. It's not only a cultural experiment, but also a recreational experiment where all family members can go, in addition to visitors and researchers to know the Egyptian civilization. So it is really a big deal. There are tons of secrets and enjoyable experiences that are going to be embarked on by visitors, either for one time or for multiple times. And I expect there are going to be interactions from the visitor side, and not only on the floor, but even outside, I mean, in social media and in the news. This museum is going to make the news for a while, and it's already started since earlier today. I've been following up, and I see that the Grand Egyptian Museum is making the headlines, and this is going to increase in the upcoming 48 hours. This is a unique experience, and it is worthy of monitoring and of visiting.
Yes, well, it seems that the wait is finally over, but to get to this stage, Egypt had to overcome many different obstacles, a corona pandemic, also international developments, conflict in Gaza. What does it say about the Egyptian resilience to actually finalize and reach the stage where we are actually inaugurating the museum?
Well, simply, it can be summarized in one word, that is resilience and will. This is represented through President Sisi and through every Egyptian layman and every professional. It was determined from the very beginning. It is whether to go for the challenge or to leave it away, and to refrain from application and to refrain from confrontation. But the Egyptian leadership opted for accepting. There were challenges in front of us before establishing the Grand Egyptian Museum, because it's not an ordinary museum but an icon, a beacon that is not in any other place in the world. There were economic challenges and stability-wise challenges, specifically after the protests of June 30th. In addition to the geopolitical tensions like COVID-19 when it hit the world. But the Egyptian plan was up and running, whether on the logistic level or the economic level. And this is why since the year 2000 we witnessed the hike in the Egyptian exports and the continuation of the grand projects. One of them was the gem. This is why when geopolitical tensions hit the region and when wars erupted, in addition...
Yes. So, well, we'll have to put a pin on that because, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Mohammed Izzuddin from Cairo, the Al-Ahram managing editor.